Hi, I'm Marilyn San Clemente of Stamp with Marilyn, and today I'm going to show you how to make these really cool swing fold cards. This is an A2 size that fits in a regular standard envelope, and one that I did for Halloween. And then this fits in a slimline envelope. Whoops, and I have it upside down. Okay, there we go. This fits in a slimline envelope. And this beautiful card fits in a slimline envelope, which is one of these. So it's a business envelope. There we go. Like so. Perfect. So that's our demonstration. And it's not as hard as it looks, or at least I don't think it is. So this is for a slimline card, and this is 4 inches by 11 inches. We're going to score at 4 3/4. Not cut, we're going to score, so make sure you're using your gray blade. And then we're going to score at 6 1/4, which is actually the 1/4 mark is over here on this black portion, kind of where the gap is on the on that piece. Okay, then I'm going to take, you want a pencil with an eraser, and I am going to very lightly go over that just on these ends. And then for this card, we're going to flip this to 2 3/8, and we're just going to mark the 2 3/8 inch. There we go. And then same on the other side, 2 3/8. There we go. Okay, and now what we're going to do, this is the tricky part. And now what we're going to do is we're going to trim from here to here and here to here at 3/4 of an inch. And this is where you need to keep this top portion flat against the top of your cutter, so that you're not cutting at an angle like that, you know, something like that. So you just need to be careful that you've got that part flat and you're cutting straight. So we want to cut at 3/4 of an inch. And I need to stand up to do this because I have to be able to move my blade down. And as you can see, this hides that one mark, but what I did is I used this one to start at. So you're just going to go down to this. I'm going to lift this up, move this down to the next score line, and then I'm going to go down to the next mark. And then I'm going to move this around, and again, make sure that you've got it at the 3/8 or the 3/4, and that it's flat against the top. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to move this up and go up to here. Okay, here we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our 2 3/4 or 2 3/8. I'm getting my 3/4 and 3/8 mixed up. Okay, we're going to take our tick marks that we made, and we're going to go in to the middle. We're going to come down to that cut and up to the other cut. Okay, so it's going to look like that, and I'll need a pair of scissors, and I'll trim that in a second. I just had my scissors in my hand. Okay, and then the same thing here. We've got those marks lined up. I'm going to go down the middle between those two. Okay, so as you can see, that makes that cut. And oops, that one did work. This one I just need to, there we go, snip just a little bit more. Okay, now you do not want to fold these score lines, okay? And But you do want to take your eraser and you want to erase your pencil marks. Oh, darn it. This is the one that has the bad eraser. So, okay. Oh, here's here's a good eraser. I like this eraser. This one will get that off. Okay. I can't believe I was using that eraser the other night and I knew that it smudged instead of erasing. So, okay. But we all make mistakes, right? Okay, so again, you do not want to score on these fold lines, and I will show you why in a minute. Okay, so this is our card. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold this one back and we're going to fold this one forward like this. Okay, and then you can use a bone folder. There we go. And then that's going to let it go like this. Or like this, depending upon which way you go. Okay, so let me show you the one that I started to work on. I don't have this one finished, but I'm getting there. And so this is the one that I did, and I'm using the Delightful Wishes set that has the forsythia in it. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to cut, and I'll use this one because this one is finished. So you're going to cut 2 pieces of white, or whatever color you want your background to be. You're going to cut 2 pieces to 2 3/8 by 6 1/8. Okay, and then if you want to use a designer paper on it, you can cut it to 2 1/4 by 6 inches. And what I did with this one is I actually made a white mat, but then I also embossed another piece of white. So both of my pieces are white, but I embossed it using the corrugated embossing folder. Okay, and this one is using the Charming Day set with the new Charming Day paper that just came out. And so you've got that piece. You're going to put one on one side, and then you put the other piece on the other side. Okay, so I did that here. And then for this one, just to highlight it a little bit, again, I did the corrugated, but then I also put a piece of designer paper on top of that. And these are all, the mat is 5/8 of an inch by 4 5/8. And the designer paper is 1/2 an inch by 4 1/2. And you need 8 pieces because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And then this side piece here, I'm just going to completely open this up. This side piece is 2 1/8. The mat is 2 1/8 by 2 1/2. And the designer paper is 2 by 2 3/8. Yeah, 3/8 is right. Because what we do is we go down 1/8 of an inch on each side. And you need 4 pieces of this. And that's it. And then just, you can use whatever stamp set you want. You can decorate it any way you want. This one I am working on. I'm going to finish over the weekend. It's Friday. Really pretty Halloween fun fold card. I call it a swing card that I've made. And it looks like that. Isn't that cute? And when you fold this up, this will fit in a regular A2 envelope. So it would go like this when it's folded up. Okay, so let me show you how we're going to put this together. So we're going to start with a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 7 1/2 inches. So this one's got different measurements from the other. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put our cutting blade out of the way, and we're going to use our scoring blade, and we're going to score at 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, and then, sorry, okay, 1 5/8. Here we go. 1 5/8, and we're going to go this way. We're going to mark here, we're going to mark here, and then we're going to flip it and do the same thing, 1 5/8. Okay, and now what we're going to do is I'm going to make a little pencil mark like right here, very lightly, and we will erase those, although you'll be decorating these too. So, okay, and then we want to go over to the 3/4 inch mark. So here's 1 inch, so 3/4 is the major line right before 1 inch, okay? And I need to stand up for this because you have to look straight down. And so you want to move your blade down to that line, and you're going to cut down to that first score line. Then I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to go down to my second score line and do the same thing and cut down to that line right there. And if you look at these blades, you can see these little tick marks on the blade. That helps you. You can line that up over here. And then we're going to flip this, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So 3/4 inch. Make sure this is flat against the top so that you're cutting straight. Okay. That one I'm going to go down to the line, and then I'm going to go back up to here. Okay. And then we're going to turn this. We're going to line these tick marks back up again over here. We're going to make a cut. We want to connect all that. Oops, I didn't go over quite far enough on that. There we go. Okay, so it's going to look like that. I'll fix that in a minute. That's what scissors are for. And then on this side, same thing. Go back to that. And I'm going to go down to the cut and then back up to the cut. And whoop, there we go. Okay. So I'm just going to take my snips and get in there. There we go. And same thing over here. Just take my snips, get in there, open that up. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to use an eraser. And I'm just going to erase those marks. And for the most part, those marks are going to be covered up with designer paper anyway. Okay, this is what our finished card, what our finished card will look like. And what I did for these is you want to cut 2 for the centerpiece because you've got 2 sides to the card, okay? So there's a mat, and the mat for this is 2 1/4 by 4. And then the designer paper is, the mat is 2 1/2 by 4, and the designer paper is 2 1/4 by 4. So we're going down 1/4 inch, or 2 1/4 by 3 7/8. Sorry, I had that wrong. So we're going down 1/8 inch on that. And then you need 4 pieces because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back side of a piece that is 2 5/8 by 1 3/8 is what I did. And I did not mat these pieces. If you were going to mat this piece, then you would use something that is 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. And I'll be putting the measurements down below on the video. And then these pieces, again, I did not mat these pieces either because this paper, I felt that this paper doesn't really need to be matted. I just matted, the only thing I matted was the centerpiece. These are, you need 8 pieces. This is 5/8 by 3 1/8 because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you need 8 pieces for that. And these are just so much fun to decorate. So what I'm going to show you now is you're going to fold one back and one forward. Okay? And then we will score this. And so what we're going to do is this centerpiece, you can see the mat, and I'm using a different shade of orange. This one's peach pie, and this is pumpkin pie. And so this is 2.5 by 4. Is that 4 inches? No, sorry. 2.5 by 4 inches. Oh my gosh. Yes, 2.5 by 4 inches. So then the next piece would be 2 3/8 by 3 7/8 if you're going down 1/8 of an inch. Okay, for those. And you don't necessarily need to put all that on. It's up to you whether you mat it or not. These I did not mat, and I gave you the dimensions for those a few minutes ago. So, okay, this is going to go on here. There's my... And I ran out of seal, so I'm using my old fast fuse, and I miss it. I always liked fast fuse. Okay, same thing over here. And you can see my lines here, but they're going to get covered up. There we go. Okay, so then the card will go like this. Oops. I guess I didn't score it before. There we go. Okay, so that is how you cut these cards. So thank you so much for stopping by, and have fun making these cards. Take care.